If you love darts and play darts and you want to 10x your performance, today I will be sharing to you about the in-depth grip specifically, so watch until the end. Hey everyone, my name is Michael Vesper. So this video is basically made out of the summary of the most frequent asked questions about grip. And they were asking about how I consider a grip is a good grip or not a good grip. What is the right grip and what is the wrong grip? How straight should your darts align with your forearm muscle when you aim? How firm should you hold when you aim and grip? And I hope you stay tuned, and I will give you the bonus tip at the very end of the video, and let's begin. Okay, first question is how I consider a grip is a good grip or not a good grip. Honestly, there's no specific measurement about whether you can define a good grip or a bad grip. So I have a method that works for me, and I'm pretty sure it works for you as well. But before, you have to understand this concept. Let's imagine that our palm is like a gun barrel, so you might want to make sure that every time you shoot forward, there's nothing in the way disturbing the flight path and the flight path. And in this case, could be your own finger. I've seen many players complaining about their own flight path, the way how they dart fly forward, just because it's actually their own finger is blocking the flight path and the dart's trajectory. So the solution for this is to consciously aware of where your fingers are placed every time you release. For example, when you release forward, if your index finger is making this gesture, I'm pretty sure that it's not your forearm which is shooting forward. It's actually your index finger is pushing the darts forward. So it kind of make the darts flight is kind of funny, like wobbly like this. But if you use your forearm and let go of your finger force, it will actually, the darts will fly smoothly forward like this. So when it release, it's gonna release like this. So let's move forward to the second question. Second question is, what is the right grip and what is the wrong grip? Like I said before, it depends, because we as a human being, we have different size of palm, different size of finger length. We have a different size, we have a different perception of how we see things. Our heights are different. So for me, it's what makes that unique actually. So it is our job to find out our measurement of right or wrong based on our perception and understanding. But my point here is to emphasize what we are trying to achieve and how to achieve it as a player. And since that is about perfecting micro movement, I think it is wise for us to understand how our body move, how our forearm, our point of view, how our eyes see to the target. You must understand exactly why your finger is doing this or doing this, how your neck, how your stance, how you're aiming, the reasons behind it. You have to totally understand it. Alright, now third question is, how straight should your darts align with your forearm muscle when you aim? So specifically for these questions, you have to watch my videos aiming, pullback, throwing that I posted before. Otherwise, you will be confused of how I see things, how I see my target, how I aim, and how I throw. So for me, since I'm using my forearm to aim, this is my forearm. So my way of thinking is, I loosen up all the force on my finger, and I aim directly from my forearm. So whenever I aim with my forearm, my barrel is automatically follow how my finger contour and where my forearm is aiming. So I don't have to worry about whether my barrel tip is actually aiming to the target that I wanted. Let's say I'm aiming to the ball. I don't have to worry whether my barrel is aiming to the 1919 or 1111 or whatever. So with this understanding, I only consciously aware of where my forearm muscle is aiming. So every time I want to throw, every time I aim, I control my forearm muscle, then it controls everything. Alright, so let's continue to the fourth questions. The fourth question is, how firm should you hold when you grip? So whenever I grip, it's actually, for example, I grip, if you took away my darts, it's just that easy. That's how loose my grip is. I've seen many players that firmly holding the darts as if they don't want to let go. If you took away the dart from them, it's like very hard. I just thought that when you hold so tight and your muscles are very tense, how could you produce that velocity and kinetic power that you've always wanted out of your muscles and joint? But don't get me wrong here. What I'm saying is adjustment on every throw is very important. I call this wrist movement. So whenever I aim, I put my forearm forward to the target that I wanted. And then my fingers are automatically curl and bend itself. With this technique, you will naturally produce your own grip. So that's why I never teach and I never share about how you should or you should not grip. If you aim with your forearm muscle and your fingers are curl automatically and bend itself, it will produce your natural grip. So this way, your finger and your grip is much more loose than a tight grip. That way, you can produce more velocity and kinetic power out of the muscles and your joint. That is it, guys. That's the overall in-depth grip that I want you to know from my point of view. And support me with that subscribe button and click that like button too if you're feeling that this is something you are into, and I'll see you on the next.